Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Milky, hello. This is going to be the second entry into the log for the mirror challenge that I'm setting myself to get 10. I got a lot of, well, I say a lot. I got a couple of questions regarding the setup that I'm using for farming ritual in the last video, so I'm quickly going to go over that before we start looking at the data for the second mirror. So first of all, we are obviously in Hayward Hamlet. We are spec'd into the ritual nodes. This is the most important thing about the strategy because it allows you to reroll an additional 2 times, which is essentially doubling the number of rerolls you would get, what pages you would see. Also, you know, this isn't to be like ignored. The extra tribute is certainly nice. In terms of Watchstones, I'm using Essential, more meticulous. You combine this with Secrets of the Stone, which means you see 5 rituals per map, which allows you to get well in excess of 20,000 tribute, basically every map. I'm not juicing the maps up at all, as I'll go into. And then I'm just using this. It's T1. It's just increased tribute. You're going to meet all your tribute needs just with these. You don't need anything else. You don't need to go crazy with the map, adding Delirious, adding Beyond, or even adding, I think someone mentioned Booming Populace. It's just not necessary because all it does is it's nice for the map drops, but in terms of getting the tribute you need, oftentimes I find myself just spending tribute on absolutely useless stuff like armor scraps, Watchstones, stuff like that. It's just not necessary. There are times when you need a lot of tribute because you've got a lot of things deferred, which I'll go into when I'll go quickly over the strategy that I use for the pages themselves. These 2 slots, they're taken up by the misinformation and terror. This is just because terror is cheapest. If Stalwart Defenders was cheaper, I'd use that. Anything to get +1 level, you want to get to 85, so your Blizzard Crowns are worth a lot. And yeah, that's essentially all I do. Obviously, this is kind of what I do before a session. I'll buy up all the Watchstones, buy up all the maps. All these are ready to run. They're all corrupted, and I've got them split into. I've got Reflect down here in case I run the Reflect Sextant. I've got Nemesis in case I run the Nemesis Sextant. What I do is I put an elevated Sextant on the 2 Watchstones that obviously never change. They can't expire, so I just use elevate on them. That's simply due to laziness. These are very expensive. I think I pay 50C each in bulk, but that's purely just quality of life for me. I don't want to have to apply Sextants every map. Or every 4 maps. This just halves the number of Sextants I have to put on the map, which I'm happy to do. It's a worth trade for me. Might not be for you. You might just want to use Awakened, in which case it's fine to do so. These aren't necessary at all. So yeah, that's what I do in terms of the Sextants. Now when it comes to the pages themselves, my normal strategy is to basically have a rule, as I mentioned in the last video. I want to have at least 3,000 tribute for the last reroll. So if anything's going to put me under a threshold, so it costs 2,000 for reroll, obviously. So if you have 3 rerolls left, then you want 6,000 more, then you want 9,000. This is assuming you're not going to defer anything or take anything out. You want to make sure you've got enough to make sure you've got 3,000. And the number 1 rule, bar none, is to make sure you see every page. It's the most important thing. In order, I'd say you want to see every page. You want to have few things deferred, because deferring things essentially just means you're in debt to the ritual orders. If you can get away with not, just take stuff. If it's 6k and that's going to put you down to 5k, you've got 1 reroll left, then just take it, go down to 5k, use your reroll. If something big shows up, it's not the end of the world. You're gonna just defer it and see it on the next run. You don't need to take everything out immediately, but if you can take stuff out and still have enough to see all the, and to meet the criteria for rule number 1, which is see all the pages, then make sure you do that. That is one of the most important things for sure. Now we'll go into that. That's basically the strategy that I'm using, and I think the way that I set it up here, so I have everything ready to go. I'm going to go into why I do this in another video. Like it's going to be like a rules for mapping kind of thing, how you can make more money mapping. I'll do that in another video because I think this is something that people ignore and it's really important. Now, in terms of the second mirror, we can go to the spreadsheet here. We got lucky again. It was only 80. As I say, 400 pages or 100 maps seems to be about the average. So this was again quite a lucky one. And not only did we get lucky with the mirror, but I'd say that this percentage of the map cost covered by drops was incredibly lucky. And something I omitted in the last video is that this is only including the big things, right? If you're not like me, I'm incredibly lazy. I don't like looting stuff. I'm not going to add up all the prices of all the scarabs, all the fossils. which aren't negligible, but when you're spending over, like almost 2x per map, it's not making up a large portion of the profit, right? If you get 10C from, if you get like 4C from a page, you get a couple of fossils. I'm just not going to include that, but it's not to be ignored. So this is probably closer to 80%, but for the sake of consistency, 74% covered by the big drops. Obviously we've got a mirror shard, which is huge. Blizzard Crown. Last video I said it's 1 in 20, so I'd say this is on the lower side. The raw, this was what carried the percentage covered this time. The 52 raw exalts, that's, or well, whatever 52 is percentage of 80, it's a huge amount of exalts per map. Getting 52 in that time is well outside the norm in my experience. Divines, obviously, I mean, you can see my stash, I just have an abundance of divines. You get so many 6 links. Some 6 links, it's you won't take. It's important to realize what's worth doing, right? Because when you re-roll, it costs 15% of the item's cost when you first see it, and that doesn't change. So it might go down in price, but the amount to defer never changes. So if something's like 17k for a divine, you're not going to take it. So just be sensible with your stuff. Again, you're looking for the big things. You're not trying to squeeze out all the value from every page by like having 20 things deferred. It's just not worth it. It's going to take you a lot longer. It's going to be annoying. You're going to spend way more tribute. You're going to spend way more time in maps. If you get into a situation where you have a lot deferred, what I would do is you can go to your vessels and you type in monsters 1, put it in quotation marks, and then you can find your big vessel. So anything with over 100, you just stack one of these up, you get tons of tribute, and then you can take out any of the big things that are like clogging up your pages. That's a really good thing to be able to do, and it allows you to clear the pages and like take those things out. So I've had situations where maybe I've got a stack of 4 exalts, a stack of 5 exalts, a resonator, and it's like I'm spending 4k to defer all of them. So I'll just come here, I'll grab the big vessels, I'll grab a juicy map and I'll go in, and that's when you want to focus on the amount of mobs that are excuse me, that are in your map, just when you need the tribute to take stuff out. So yeah, this was number 2. I'd say this one was obviously, in terms of maps, it was a bit unlucky. 80 is far more than 15. The cost of exalts was about 120 more, which is, as I say, it's to be expected. Mirrors are currently 250, so 38, take off 28 from 250. That's the amount of profit we made from this cycle of maps. As I say, this was carried by the percentage covered by the drops. This is way higher than I've got through the other mirrors that I'm farming so far. But yeah, that's the second one. I hope the tips on ritual I gave are helpful. If you have any questions regarding ritual, I'm happy to answer them. Just leave them in the comments. Check me out on stream. MilkyBK _ I'll put it in the description. I'm going to be streaming in a minute. I'm just doing this before I stream while I have everything in my stash bought, so that you can see what kind of I set up before I go into it, because I don't want to have to do loads of trading in between maps. Just want to blast, put on some music, go. And that's what that's for. And again, I'm going to do a video basically about mapping, because that's basically all I do. I'm just a mapper. I don't like bossing or anything like that. So I'll do a video that is focused on principles for mapping that'll make you more money, something like that. But yeah, appreciate it, guys. Peace. See you in the next one. Hopefully we get number 3 today, and then I can have an update for you tomorrow. If not, then you'll have the video about mapping. Peace.